Well, let's get started.
Excuse me, I need to check your answer, Mr. Mayor.
God. How are
You look good, man.
Good, how you doing, man?
So, got Andrew Beamer lined up. Do you need to tee this off at all for me?
If I could, Mr. Mayor, we've had a couple questions here lately, a couple things that we'd like to bring to your attention pursuant to some of the items on the agenda this evening. Two of which are in regards to a change order and a sole source purchase, which typically y'all have had questions about. And so if I could give a little time to Andrew to cover that discussion, that'd really be helpful. Another discussion that's on tonight's agenda as well, albeit all of these are on consent, is with regard to using engineering staff more at a level to design projects and those kinds of things. And I thought it might be helpful if we could talk about that. Also, particularly in light of the potential award we'll see tonight in conjunction with Midwest Avenue. And so if we could, Mr. Mayor, allow Andrew to cover those items and as a part of our pre-meeting tonight, that'd really be helpful.
You bet.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrew.
You're welcome. Your Honor, Counsel, I'll address the first item first, which is on the agenda tonight is a change order with Andrew and Hunt for the East Casper Zone 3 project, which is that big transmission main water tank booster station going from Country Club all the way out to Casper Mountain Road. The plan showed claystone bedrock for where they were going to bore underneath Wyman Boulevard to get the water main from the east side of Wyman Boulevard onto the west side of Wyman Boulevard. They came across a lens of boulders and cobblestone that they simply could not bore through. There was claystone bedrock there too, but it was significantly harder than what the geotech had identified. So they have had to remobilize with a bigger boring machine to bore underneath Wyman Boulevard, and that's in the tune of $40,000, just over $40,000. 67% of that cost, or close to $27,000, will be paid by Water Development Commission, which is our funding source for that project. So the city's obligation is the balance of that, somewhere around $13,000. So I don't know if you have any additional questions beyond that on that change order tonight.
Do they run a core down there to see what's down there?
We bored along that entire corridor, but that bore is 6 inches in diameter, so we were hitting one pinpoint along that corridor. We cannot, we have a pretty good general idea of what we're gonna encounter, but when we see lenses, we just miss, so we didn't see it.
Any other questions on that topic?
And then there's 3 sole source memos in your packet. One is for some flight pumps, which we have standardized not only with the city of Casper, but also with the wastewater treatment plant. That allows our operators and our technicians and even our maintenance staff to interchange between all of our lift stations around the community with standardized pumps and motor controls and everything else. The ones we are requesting tonight is for the Begonia lift station, which was built, I want to say 1980, which we were getting ready to revamp. So that's the reason for that sole source. The other one is for mag meters, and Bruce may have to help me with it's with 2 booster stations, but again, we are looking to standardize our metering at these booster stations with very specific mag meters from Crone. Right. And again, not just the city of Casper, but this time not the wastewater treatment plant, but the regional water system is standardized with these Crone mag meters, so they can be interchanged, mechanics know how to use them, they communicate with our SCADA system, and all that kind of stuff. And the third one is a grit removal mechanism at the wastewater treatment plant. This one has been in service since 1980 as well. We replaced one 2 years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago. Now this is almost more critical, because if we go with a different grit removal mechanism, then we have to do a whole bunch of plumbing modifications, structural modifications to fit a different manufacturer in this very confined space. So those are the 3 sole source memos that you have in your packet right now. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions that you may have on any or all of those sole source requests.
Any questions for Andrew?
No? Okay, then a very brief overview of the engineering division. Right now, we currently have 9 full-time employees in engineering, a combination of engineering, professional engineers, and engineering technicians and support staff. Back in 2014, we actually had 14 people. We have been without a city surveyor since 2012. We've been contracting that out, either with Worthington Landhart or CEPI. And when our city engineer resigned in 2016, those duties have been absorbed as well. So we don't currently technically have a city engineer on staff. I'm kind of dual role in that capacity. Now, the vast majority of projects are designed and bid out and overseen in-house. And on the city's website, we do have an up-to-date project listing of all the active projects, where you can actually see the status, if it's done in-house or it's been contracted out through consultants. Now, you've got a contract for WWC going to council tonight. This is for Midwest Avenue reconstruction, which is from David to Elm. This is specific for the CA portion, just construction administration. So this includes a full-time project representative, surveying crews, geotechnical, electrical engineer, landscape architects. It is a project that's anticipated to cost upwards of $2.5 million. That if we were to do this in-house, I would have probably at least one staff person assigned to that full-time, doing nothing else but that project. And it is burdensome and to cover all the other projects we're trying to do, as well as all the traffic flow, street cut. We integrate the record drawings into GIS, all the other applications that we are responsible for. So if the projects become too big, and the $2.5 million project is a pretty good sized project, but they become too specialized, require electrical engineers, landscape architects, because nobody trusts a civil engineer to lay out anything pretty, generally. We've tried, and they go, that's your best you can do? I think it looks nice, but others disagree. So, any questions at all on the role of the engineering division within public services?
Well, you know, I brought that up last
Sure.
week, Andrew, and you guys are gonna keep hearing it from me. You know, it just seems to me that year after year after year, I've seen big budget bills for outside engineering that it looks to me like you could sure hire somebody in-house that could do things for that, and I'm just gonna be questioning that and looking at that.
Your Honor, Councilman, I can certainly understand that perception, but you gotta keep in mind that those fees are not going just to engineering. They are going to geotechnical firms, they're going to structural engineers, they're going to electrical engineers, they're going to landscape architects. They're going to a slew of other professionals than just a person, if that, I mean, in this contract going tonight, they have to, all the material testing, all the on-site surveying, all the inspections. It encompasses more than just what a person can do. Because we don't have a geotech testing capability in-house. We don't have a surveying crew, let alone a city surveyor. We don't have electrical engineer or landscape architect. So we would even have to contract those types of services out separately, which are now covered under this contract with WWC going to council tonight. If that helps at all.
It helps, but I'm
Okay.
still skeptical.
I understand,
about it.
sure.
Dallas and then Kameen.
Would we save money by hiring a city engineer, as Councilman is suggesting?
You would not save money because you would have to, you could promote from within if you didn't want to add another full-time employee. So you would have a little differential in salary. But you would not save money because I think you would still absorb the duties in-house.
Maybe we could get some numbers so the councilman could look at that and have a comparison as to what we would be getting if we hired somebody and what happens when we do it the way we did. I'd like to know that myself. Whether he does or not, I'd like to know.
Yeah, because, Mr. Mayor, I've just, that's a budget item that I've watched for a lot of years. And it just seems like, 200,000 here, 300,000 here, 200,000 here, just, ongoing all the time. And so that's why I'm skeptical.
Could we give some numbers just to show the discrepancy on how that works and what Andrew's
And I know
explaining?
that there are special projects sometimes that you need, like anything, if you need a specialist, you need a specialist. But,
No.
Mr. Mayor, just to be clear, what numbers would I be gathering? The cost to hire a geotech and a surveyor, or on a permanent basis, or what numbers am I gathering?
well, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, or what I would be interested in looking at is, how much money has the city put out, say, in the last 10 years, for contract engineering things? If it's available, if it's easy to break that down, that, well, okay, part of this is for soils testing, part of it's for, this kind of thing, part of it's for that kind of thing, as opposed to just, here's what we're paying to have an engineer sit down and design something.
Sure.
Does that help?
It does help,
Okay.
yeah. Councilman, is that comport with what?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanna know, because what I keep hearing Mike say is, are we spending too much money on outside contracts as opposed to hiring someone within? That's what I would like to know.
Sure.
Kaneen and then Chris.
Will some of that become evident during the budget process? I think if we give it a little bit of time, you'll see some of it come through in the budget process, but then as you see more of the projects come through, you'll start to feel more comfortable, because I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I feel pretty good about the way they do it though, so, but I want you to see the information, but I don't wanna
Yeah.
burden staff until after budget session, cause I'm assuming you guys are.
Yeah, I
kinda
don't
crazy
want
heat.
somebody spending a bunch of time on this.
Oh, okay, okay.
Should we just wait till after budget then?
Or part of the budget.
Or part of it?
Yeah.
I think it should be part of it.
Chris.
How many years do we have our own surveyor and engineer?
I've been with the city since '95, and we had a city surveyor all the way on staff until 2012. Same thing with city engineer. There was always a city engineer until the latest retirement in 2016.
I would say there's clearly a need for one. Electrician took the jobs away to save money, and I don't know that we are. But that's the information you'll be providing.
You betcha.
I don't think we were wrong for probably 50 years.
Any other question for Andrew? Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Carter.
One more item, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, if I could pass these around. This is the survey that we're sending out here very soon with regard to 1%. And we are effectively in partnership with the county, asking the community to help us prioritize the use of 1% dollars. This is a practice that the city has entertained for a number of the cycles that we are up to 16 now. And I would suggest that it's very valuable data with regard to where we go with regard to what the citizens think we should be doing and everything else. So want to give you that heads up and let you know that this was out or going out. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
I didn't bring my glasses. Is there something on here about a police station?
For the city's portion.
Yes, there is. Just trust.
Let me see those glasses.
You'll notice that one of the,
Oh, is there?
there is, on the city side.
09.
Yeah.
Well, that's public safety equipment. That isn't a building.
It does talk about supporting police services with 1% dollars. And I forget how it's written exactly. It does talk about equipment, that's right, that's right. Supporting the
Can
police
you amend
is
that?
what,
I think it should say a police building.
the police station.
Yes.
We certainly can, although we use 1% dollars for more than just capital on the
Well, you
public
could throw
safety
that in
side.
there.
Yeah.
Everything we
Would-
need for the police.
Would the council be comfortable with that? Is there a majority of people that would be supportive of putting that specifically on there? Just maybe get a thumbs up to see if there's support for that.
A police station.
We could add equipment and facilities.
Yeah, equipment and facilities.
It could be
Equipment
that
licenses.
easy, absolutely. We sure could.
I like that terminology.
Well, or, you know, I may wonder if maybe
You don't
Dallas
wanna
isn't
trick
right, that
anybody.
just,
Right.
to flat out say we need a new police station. You know, do you agree that we need a new police station? Because that's different from, equipment to prevent, respond to, and solve crimes.
Well, and I think the suggestion at this point is to put public safety equipment and facilities in there as
I
well.
mean, we have to get 1 cent for the building, don't we?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wish we could get this cleared up.
We could, I think that's a good way to clear it up myself. If that's amenable to the council, we'll certainly do that.
I'm fine. I just wanna get something on there I can say it's meant building.
Sure thing.
I think facilities.
Does that work?
Pretty clear. I think so.
Maybe I can tell my brother that we're gonna buy a school and put the police
We're gonna
department
put, yeah, we're gonna put the police department
across the street
across
from his house with
from
him.
him. Which.
And then we could pay like twice the cost of the purchase price on the pavement of asbestos and upgrading the plumbing and that kind of stuff. I think that's an awesome idea.
You keep mentioning asbestos.
It's 100
like
years
you don't
old.
mean it.
It's 100, if it's not there, it's because they didn't invent it yet.
That may have been, that may have been.
Did you go to school there?
No, I went to Manor Heights.
Oh, and people who've gone to school there,
I
you
went
should
to- I
see
went to
what
school
they're
to
saying
Grant.
to me.
I went to school at Grant.
You should hear I got a letter from a retired judge in Sheridan that went to that school. And I should have brought it and read it, because he remembers certain things happening at the school in the 50s and all of this. And I just don't want that school torn down. The neighbors, however, they're different. They're different.
Anything on the agenda that anybody has anything they want to address really quick?
I
before we
would like
go
to
out?
say one thing just before we get there. I honestly believe the penalty we have in this food truck ordinance is too steep for the issue. It's $100 to $500 fine. I'd rather see $25 to $100 fine. I don't know what the ex-judge thinks, but I'd like to hear. I cringe at the idea of finding somebody a fine of $500 who's trying to sell food to stay alive themselves.
$25 just the cost of doing business.
Right, 25
That's
to
nothing. Give me a ticket every day. I'm gonna go set up. The idea is
No,
to deter.
because if you get a second offense, you lose your right to get any more. There's a provision
Well,
in
yeah,
this.
but then what do we do to them if they say, well, okay, I'm just gonna thumb my nose at the
You
whole
can,
process?
well, then there's a
Then can we
provision.
Release the dogs.
There's a
Yeah.
provision you put in there where you forfeit your right to have.
Yeah, but what if somebody just says, okay, I forfeited my right, what are you gonna do to me, na-na-na-na-na?
They
You
drag
know,
off
can
his
we-
truck.
Can we hire a tow truck and go tow them
They
away?
take the
or-
truck.
Yeah.
Take the truck and put
Is
it
that
down.
in there?
Probably not.
Yeah. We'll bring it to your house.
Bring it to my house. What the,
Hey, if it's that barbecue one, bring it to my house.
did I see your glasses again?
Alrighty, we've got about 5 minutes, so we'll go ahead and take that time and head on out.
They sell them for $2 at Walmart.